What's up guys, welcome to YugiBOOM, and today I'm bringing you a Metaphys deck profile. Right on guys, I know this deck came out a long time ago and most of you probably forgot about it, but it's a really random deck. I just decided to put it together because, you know, I had the cards and no one in my group of friends ever bothered to touch it. I gave it an extra deck, but at the end of the video I'll explain something about this deck with extra decks and something you might already know about it, but for now, let's get right into it. Alright, so starting off with your Metaphys monsters, you're going to want 3 Metaphys Ragnarok. So he's probably your main guy in the deck. I mean, he's your level 4. He's a tuner randomly, which kind of helps me make a really weird random extra deck for this deck. But pretty much what he does is he banishes top 3 cards of your deck. And then for every Metaphys card, he'll gain 300. And then if he inflicts battle damage, he summons a Metaphys monster from the deck. So with your field spell, I mean, if you can get some shenanigans off, it's not too bad. Next, we'll be running 3 Metaphys Nephthys, because when he's banished, he'll search out your cards. So pretty much all the Metaphys, when they're banished, the next standby phase, they'll go into the deck and trigger effects. And Nephthys is your searcher. Then we have 3 of Daedalus, because Daedalus, he's a level 7, unlike the rest of the big guys who are all 8s, which kind of screws up some play sometimes, but he's really nice because when he's summoned by the effect of a Metaphys monster, he banishes all cards on the field, or all special summon monsters on the field, which could be a nice little sum. Next, 3 Metaphys Tyrant Dragon. He's going to special summon one from your hand, plus he can attack twice on, I think, monsters, and he's unaffected by traps if he's been special summoned by the effect of a Metaphys monster. Lastly, I'm really still experimenting with this card, but it's been kind of useful, which is 3 Metaphys Decoy Dragon. Mainly it's an extra Metaphys name to banish with Ace of Metaphys and some of your other cards, and it does have a nice effect. Pretty much as a scale or a monster, it does the same effect where you banish it to special summon a Metaphys monster after they've declared an attack. From your banish zone, that is. Moving on with the monsters, we're running 2 Fairy Tale Snow. She just helps if by some reason you do have a bunch of Metaphys monsters in the grave, and she's an extra summon plus a little bit of interrupting. We all know how annoying she could be. Last for the monsters is 3 Light Ray Grepher. So you can special summon him by discarding a level 5 or higher light monster, and then once per turn you could discard 1 light monster to banish a light monster from your deck. So he's easy to summon in this deck. He just gets a little bit extra on board, and you know, he helps you banish your cards. Moving on to the spells, we have 3 Ace of Metaphys. This is probably the best card in the deck still, in my opinion. So once per turn, what you're mainly going to use this for is to banish a Metaphys card and then draw a card. It does have 2 effects that once per turn, if a Metaphys card in its owner's possession is banished, apply these effects depending on whose turn it is. If it happens on your turn, all monsters on the field lose 500 attack and defense, except for Metaphys monsters. And if it happens on your opponent's turn, you change the battle position of all monsters on the field. Next is 3 Metaphys Factor. So at first when I was building this deck, I didn't run the field spell at all. Then I realized this deck just isn't that fast or powerful of a deck. So the best part about the field is it will let you summon a Metaphys without tributing once per turn if you need to, but the better effect is that your opponent can activate cards and effects in response to Metaphys monsters' effects. So getting your Ragnarok off is kind of easy if you have your field spell out. And of course we're running 2 Terraforming to go with the field spell. I'm also running 3 Trade-in with all the level 8 monsters we have because this deck's not too consistent. I mean, it does search out a lot, but you need to do stuff first before you can search, and it's kind of a bummer. Running 1 Rhoda because although he takes a lot of resources, the Light Ray Grepher does help, and until I find better ways to make this deck, then I'm just gonna keep with that. Then we have 1 Dimensional Fissure because getting everything banished is annoying, plus it helps you. And then 2 Gold Sark. Honestly, you could make this 3 if you wanted to cut like one of the Light Ray Greffers or something, because Gold Sark is just really good in this deck. Then for the traps, 3 Metaphys Ascension. So Metaphys Ascension is its activated effect is discard a Metaphys card and draw 1 card. Then you can banish a Metaphys monster from your deck. And then also, if this card is banished, you can add a Metaphys card from your deck to your hand. So if you banish this with Ace of Metaphys, then you can get an additional searcher afterwards. And then just a Macrocosmos and a Waterfall of Dragon Souls. And that's it for the traps. No real need for me to run, you know, any like Solemn or anything like that in this deck. So now to the extra deck, which is very random and weird. It's just 1 Decode Talker and 2 Hippo Shinigami because it's not a crazy link deck. You really don't need to make monsters in the extra deck. Pretty much just ran a bunch of answers to things this deck struggles with. For the Synchros, we got 1 Star Eater, which you can sometimes make, but really the easiest thing for you to make is 8. So we have Omega, Scrap Dragon, Crimson Blader, and Stardust Dragon. Just my own selection of level 8s, you know, that are kind of helpful for what this deck lacks. Next, moving on to the Exceeds. Same thing with the Exceeds, you're only going to make like rank 4s and rank 8s. So Exciton Knight, Castel, Rebellion Dragon, and Abyss Dweller. And then for our rank 8s, we're just running some of, you know, our Galaxy monsters just to do get a little something extra off of our extra deck. But the main thing with this deck is it really does not need an extra deck. To be honest, you can take out a lot of the cards in the main deck with this and X the whole extra deck except for maybe just a couple. Like the only cards in this extra deck I would say are important really are like maybe even just like keeping an Omega and stuff that's annoying. And then the rest of your extra deck could just be a lot of meta cards, like a lot of links that everybody's running, and you can main cherries in this deck really easily because you do not need an extra deck for anything. So yeah, that's something I'm gonna try to experiment with soon. Unfortunately, that kind of means your extra deck will be expensive for a deck that's not that great, but you could run just a Souled and Borrowed Dragon and a lot of the Nightmares and just random stuff you know most meta decks are gonna have. So that's an idea to think about with this build. I have tested this deck. I mean, when you get a good hand, it can do a lot. It's just not very overwhelming. It doesn't really have lockdown plays. It's more like kind of like a slower OTK deck. Like it can get a lot of stuff out and then go for a big attack, but it's not really gonna set you're not really gonna go first and then survive an onslaught from a really good deck necessarily. But if anybody knows a way to make Metaphys really good, or if you want to see us tweak this deck or see it in action, let us know in the comments below. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what other decks may have gotten forgotten about that you would like to see.